Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, although this is targeted in a way to all the Durrani victims, it's also targeted to the public at large because I want to make this a teaching moment of what goes on in the tri-state every day and what goes on in this country every day. And I am in the process of writing two books at the same time. One of those books involves the Dr. Durrani litigation very specifically, and the other book is about injustice in this country and what really goes on. In addition to that, we are in the process of opening up this podcast thing that I'm doing in a huge way. We are signing a lease. We're going to have our own separate podcast space, and the set is going to blow you away. It's coming. My power in speaking out is going to get even better. And one of my niches is going to be Trump, the country, America, history, and law. And one of those things that I'm always going to speak out about is what goes on in this country behind the scenes, so to speak, of injustice every single day. Now, while there are riots in the streets and protests in the streets over a man who was wrongfully killed in Minneapolis, Minnesota, there's no riots in the streets and protests for other injustices that go around all over this country. I chuckled to myself, for example, this morning about the William Henry Harrison statue. You know, if there's anybody that should protest the William Henry Harrison statue, it should be Indians. The Indians. They'd have a legitimate beef with William Henry Harrison. Now, the Durrani group trial situation. These people had surgeries from Dr. Durrani from 2005 through 2013. During that time frame, all of their lawsuits, for the most part, were filed in 2013 and 2014. It's now 2020, and there's only been 40 trials. 40 trials. We have asked for group trials over and over and over again. The one guy who gave those group trials, two guys, Judge Robert Ruhlman, was taken off the cases by Chief Justice Martin O'Connor. And the other one, Judge Michael Barrett, only had 10 cases. Now, we filed at Judge Reese's request, we filed a motion for group trials spelling out all the reasons, which I'm not going to regurgitate here, why group trials are allowed under law and why they should exist. Taft, Stettinius, and Hollister, representing Dr. Durrani, filed a reply to that. They filed a response to that. And out of the gate, now just imagine this. This is one of Cincinnati's largest law firms. And this lawyer, in the very first paragraph of his response, flat out lies. I mean, just bold-faced lies. He says that the Ohio Supreme Court in that Ruhlman matter rejected group trials. A complete lie. He also said that the Court of Appeals in another matter rejected group trials. Not true. He also even said Schweikert said no group trials, which wasn't true. Schweikert simply said, I don't got time for group trials, and you guys try to work it out amongst yourselves. Just imagine how absurd that is. You guys try to work it out with yourselves, talk to the defense lawyers, see what they did. Of course, we sent an email to them about, okay, how do you want to do this? And they don't reply. Now, what I'm going to read from you is some excerpts from our reply. Mr. Sanger, that's the big shot Taft lawyer. He's a partner and you know what? These big law firms do this over and over and over again and face no consequences. You might say, how is that? How is that? Well, they own the bar associations and they own the judges. Mr. Sanger joins this litigation with the serious misrepresentation
that group trials have not been allowed in his first paragraphs. What he claims is too false to characterize as the normal misrepresentation. And after all, how could a partner at the mighty Taft make a mistake? It's beyond offensive and increases our anger and strident position. That's what he called. The court should hold him accountable. And then we point out the two cases where he just absolutely freaking lies. Lies. And then they mocked us for what we called the system. We stand by that the Ohio court system has not given a damn, because they haven't. Over the past years, this court has tried only 40 trials. Already, 59 of Durrani victims are dead. How many of Dr. Durrani's victims will be alive in 20 years when the final trial is scheduled? And the whole idea of group trials, folks, is they're all the same. What's all the same? Durrani lies about his radiology. He lies to the primary doctor. He threatens them with paralysis and wheelchair bound and their head falling off. And then he misrepresents how they did in every single freaking case. Every single case. Then Sarah lies and talks about consolidation rule doesn't apply. He's right. It applies. It has nothing to do with it. There's a case, Sweda versus Howard, by the way, just so you know, where group trials was allowed. Was allowed. Judge Barrett is having group trials. You know what they argue? You know what they argue about group trials? And this is when I get fired up. They say, well, that's prejudicial to Dr. Durrani. Prejudice to Dr. Durrani, laughable. Time and time again, Durrani's counsel says unfair and prejudicial. Mr. Sarah would argue in a murder defense that if the gun with prints on it is prejudicial or unfair, it should be excluded. Oh, you got video of my client shooting that guy? Well, that's prejudicial. You should not use that video. That's what they do in the Durrani litigation. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. The coddling of Dr. Durrani goes on and on and on. I mean, I can tell you right now, if something's not done, we don't get our group trials, I'll be going back to jail. But you know what? I'm going to get my money's worth. Because if rioting, not protesting, if rioting is what has to happen to get somebody's attention, well, then rioting, it shall be. It's the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. I hope you have a great day.